Have you ever found yourself wondering, is the whole point of spirituality to kind of check out from the world, or is it to dive in and engage with it even more? Well, today we're going to dive into Humanistic Buddhism, a philosophy that gives a really powerful answer by bridging one of the oldest divides in spiritual thought.
Yeah, this is really the big question, isn't it? Should we try to renounce the world to find some kind of inner peace? Or should we embrace it, with all its messiness? It's a dilemma you find in so many traditions. But inside of Buddhism, it actually led to a fascinating split between two very different paths. So on one side, you've got the Shravakayana path. The focus here is on personal liberation, freeing yourself from the cycle of suffering. And on the other side, there's the Bodhisattvayana path, where the goal is totally different. It's about helping all other beings find enlightenment through active, hands-on compassion. So, which one is it? Do you escape or do you engage? This is the exact divide that Humanistic Buddhism sets out to bridge.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with what this humanistic bridge actually is. Then we'll see how it pulls together both the philosophy and the daily practices of Buddhism. And finally, we'll look at how it completely reimagines what it even means to transcend life itself.
So, what is this humanistic Buddhist bridge? Well, the first thing to know is it's not some brand new invention. It's actually framed as a powerful return to what its followers believe were the Buddha's original, deeply world-engaged teachings. And this is a huge shift in perspective. You know, a lot of us have this picture in our heads of Buddhism being all about being passive or renouncing the world now for some reward way off in the future. Humanistic Buddhism says, actually, that's a misunderstanding. It's a call to get back to the Buddha's original spirit, which was all about finding spiritual meaning right here, right now, in the middle of our complicated, messy human lives. Okay, so how does this philosophy actually unify those two paths we talked about? I mean, how can a path for yourself and a path for everyone else grow from the very same root?
The whole answer comes down to this core concept called dependent origination. This is the fundamental truth the Buddha is said to have realized. And what it means is that everything and everyone is interconnected. Seriously, nothing and no one exists in a vacuum. We are all part of this vast, intricate web of causes and conditions.
This framing of reality is just so powerful. Our lives aren't just a series of random events. They're a harmonious combination of all these interconnected causes and conditions. And once you really truly get that, the whole division between helping yourself and helping others just starts to melt away. Helping you is helping me. And this isn't just some nice fluffy idea. It is the philosophical bedrock of humanistic Buddhism. Now this leads to another absolutely brilliant reframing, and it's around the idea of emptiness. The classic phrase, 4 elements are empty, has so often been misunderstood to mean that life is meaningless or that everything is just nothing. But Master Hsing Yun flipped this completely. He suggested we think of it as 4 elements are have. Emptiness isn't a void, it's pure, unlimited potential.
And the analogy for this is so simple, but so profound. An empty cup is useful precisely because it's empty. You can fill it with water. An empty room can become a home. Emptiness, from this point of view, isn't a negative void. It's the creative space where literally everything can happen. It's the source of infinite possibility. And here is where you see the personal path just blossom into a universal one. The Four Noble Truths, which are like Buddhism's core diagnosis of the human condition, they directly inspire the great vows of the Bodhisattva. So understanding that suffering exists naturally leads to the vow to save all beings. Seeing what causes suffering leads to the vow to end all those causes. The personal journey becomes the blueprint for universal compassion. It's beautiful. Okay, so that's the big picture philosophy. Super interesting, but what does it actually look like day to day? How does this all translate into actual practice? Let's take a look at how the core practices get adapted for our modern, engaged lives. So, the foundation for all practice is what's called the 3 learnings: precepts or ethical conduct, concentration or mental discipline, and wisdom, true understanding. Both paths share this basic framework, but Humanistic Buddhism puts a really unique, you could say, relational spin on each one. Let's start with precepts or ethical rules. Instead of just seeing them as a list of don'ts, don't kill, don't steal, Humanistic Buddhism frames them around a single powerful principle: non-infringement. So don't kill becomes respect and do not infringe upon another's life. Don't steal becomes respect and do not infringe upon their property.
It totally transforms ethics from a list of restrictions into an active, positive way of relating to other people with respect.
Okay, next up is concentration. When you hear that, you probably picture a monk sitting silently on a cushion for hours. And that's one way to do it for sure. But Humanistic Buddhism champions this awesome idea called life zen. The whole point is that you can find peace and focus and mental discipline right in the middle of your busy life, while you're working, while you're talking with your family, even when you're just walking down the street. The world isn't a distraction from your practice, the world is your practice.
And finally, wisdom. This is really the glue that holds it all together. And we're not talking about academic knowledge or memorizing texts here. It's that profound, gut-level realization of our interconnectedness, that deep understanding that we all coexist as one body. When you truly feel that, things like ethical conduct and being mindful just become the most natural things in the world.
So, all of this leads us to the most profound shift of all, a complete and total reimagining of the ultimate spiritual goal.
It really all comes down to this one powerful phrase. To perfect one's humanity is to achieve Buddhahood. Think about that. It means enlightenment isn't about becoming something other than human. It's about becoming a fully realized human, someone who is deeply compassionate, wise, and engaged with the world. Your spiritual path is found by embracing your humanity, not by escaping it. And this reveals a subtle but absolutely massive difference in perspective. The traditional goal was often seen as ending the cycle of life and death, getting off the cosmic carousel, so to speak. But the humanistic goal is to transcend it. And that means finding freedom and joy and meaning while you're still on the ride, through wise and compassionate action right here in this world.
This even changes the vision of the cosmos itself. The older view was often this rigid hierarchy of reincarnation that you wanted to escape. This new perspective is much more fluid. It's a circulation through different states of being. So it's less about escaping a trap and much more about a hopeful, expansive journey where becoming a Buddha is always a potential, right here in this life.
So let's bring it all home. What are the big takeaways? First, Humanistic Buddhism is really a call to return to the Buddhas engaged in the world spirit. Second, core ideas like dependent origination show that helping yourself and helping others are really two sides of the same coin. Third, it adapts these ancient practices for our modern lives. And maybe most importantly, it reframes the ultimate goal. Liberation is found in the world, not from it. And that really leaves us with one final question for you. If our highest spiritual potential isn't something we find on a remote mountaintop, but it's right here in our messy, beautiful, interconnected human lives, what does your path look like starting today? Thanks for exploring all of this with us.